I'm looking at a chart of how much we have spent on stimulus. So here we have the New Deal, the TARP, which was how we which was the biggest stimulus, and how we dealt with the Great Recession of 2008, and the CARES Act, and a comparison of how much we spent in both nominal dollars, inflation adjusted dollars, which I don't like because of the way inflation is calculated. I'll get to that in a second, and also by the size of the economy. And the first thing that jumps to mind is every time I see dollars, I instinctively want to think how much gold and silver that is. So the New Deal was $42 billion. At the time, gold was $35 an ounce. So we're talking about 1.2 billion ounces of silver. The CARES Act was signed in March of 2020. And at the time, gold was about $1,500 an ounce. The stimulus was $2,000 billion. And already people are complaining that their stimulus is gone, right? Back in July when we ended the $600 unemployment bonus. The funny thing is that for a lot of people, people who were getting unemployment, a lot of people were complaining that they were getting double what they used to make at their jobs. And all of a sudden, the week after the unemployment ends, people are missing their rent payments, or getting ready to file bankruptcy, or shutting down their businesses. And I'm thinking to myself, you made double for 3 months. I mean, at least you should go 3 more months without a hitch, right? And you're still getting your state unemployment and who knows what else, right? And but already just that 1 week, default rates really skyrocketed. Actually, I love to check my credit card score on creditkarma.com. And I remember at the beginning of March, my credit card score jumped 50 or 60 points, and I had no idea why. I didn't rack up any debt. I didn't pay off any additional debt. I made my regular payments on my student loans, which I'm almost done paying off anyhow. I asked my friend, who's a banker, and he explained to me that the credit card scores are relative to other people. It's defined so that a certain number is the average, and then a certain number is the standard deviation. So if a lot of people are defaulting and you're doing the same thing, your score will go up. Now, keep in mind, this was the first week of the lockdown. Most people get paid every 2 weeks. This is before people even missed a paycheck, and they're already defaulting, which is just insane in my opinion. I wanted to call Dave Ramsey to ask him why this would be, because I wanted to hear him say how stupid people are and all that. I love listening to him talk about that. Anyway, so notice how the New Deal, even though that was spread out over a decade, is about the same number of ounces of gold as the CARES Act. The difference is that all the gold that we were spending during the New Deal didn't disappear down a debt hole, right? The reason people cannot quarantine for 2 weeks is because we live on borrowed money, and every week there's payments to be made, right? If one person doesn't pay their rent, the owner can't pay their mortgage, the bank cannot pay their depositors, and so on, right? This was not the case back in 1933, and as a result, for the same amount of money, right, we got a lot more out of our stimulus, right? Just goes to show how much of our money is disappearing down that debt hole, right? Now, people might argue that, we have a better standard of living nowadays. I dispute that. I think people actually had healthier foods during the Great Depression. They had better access to health care. I mean, certainly there are drugs today that didn't exist back then. The camera and the computer I'm using to record this with didn't exist back then, but a lot of these things are not making us healthier today, right? A lot of these things, if anything, make us less healthy, make us more dependent on drugs, make us less physically active because we watch YouTube instead of running our own lives, right, and being physically active, right? I wish instead of measuring GDP, we actually measured life expectancy or health expectancy, right, as our metric of how much advancement we have, right? I bet that would paint a whole new picture, right? We'd probably be a third world country if we measured real human capacity, right? Thanks for watching.